Oh.
We're here. Whatever. I'm angry now. I'm just in a bad mood. Fair warning, everybody. Pre-game chat. Ryan said some stuff that made me really angry. So if I could get out on him during game,
I did. I mentioned the word shatter. I mentioned the phrase Shadowrun, and that was all it took.
Oh, kryptonite.
Don't draw that kind of an empire. I love Shadowrun. I'm a massive Shadowrun fan. And don't come angry at me here. Ryan's saying things that aren't true.
Right?
No.
Why are you trying to stir stuff up, Ryan?
That Ryan guy. We were talking the details of what qualifies as cyberpunk and what doesn't, and we had some different opinions.
Look, poll the audience.
I'm not polling the audience about this.
I know that everybody with a rocket launcher.
Yeah. Everybody is going to disagree with me, and I know that already. It doesn't make me wrong.
I'm just saying. Agreed.
All right. See,
there's no right or wrong on these sides. It's different strokes for different.
There's a right side. It's this side. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Yukon Talk, not our random RPG argument radio show.
Oh, that's a good name for a radio show, though.
Oh, that's my other podcast that I do.
Right.
Is the
that'd be awesome. With you about sometime, Ashley.
Yes, that'd be great.
I've listened to a few episodes, and I have some hot takes to throw at you all. So
nice. We welcome hot takes.
Yeah. We're back. We had a week off where travel was happening and people did not have the internet they thought they would have. So here we are. We're with our penultimate session 11 out of 12. Things are going to get weird. But before that, I don't think we have any announcements, although I'm going through them. No, I think we don't have any announcements. Okay, never mind. It's been a crazy day. We had to replace our whole air duct furnace system in the house.
Oh, jeez.
Whoa.
So I've been running like crazy. So I didn't get my usual agenda of items and such prepped in time. And I made the mistake of watching the first episode of Mare Beast Town. And now I'm super mad I'm not watching more of that right now.
Oh, no.
Just kind of low-key angry about it the whole time. So
I've heard it's excellent.
It was, I had to look at my clock. I was like, I don't think I can squeeze another episode in. And that kind of bothers me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe I'll just kill you quickly so that you all.
I'll just put it on the stream over here.
We don't need a producer. Yeah,
I'm totally here. All right. We're here to play Tiny Cthulhu, Yukon Dark, our actual play.
We are. Yes.
Sorry, everyone, for the really rough intro here. It's been a day. I'm going to hand the show over to Madi so she can keep us on track and in the lane because apparently I'm terrible.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm Madi Murdoch. I'm the GM for tonight, and I am super excited because, last week some crazy stuff happened again. I mean, every week that happens, but we're definitely getting down to the wire as far as the final conflict goes. So before we really get into the recap, though, let's have our players introduce themselves. So we'll start in the top corner with Ryan. Introduce yourself and your character.
Hey everybody, nice to see you all again. My name is Ryan. I do board game media, live streams, all kinds of content about board games on my channel, Man vs. Meeple, and I love to write role-playing games and play role-playing games, which is why I'm here to play in this Cthulhu game, because I also just love horror and Cthulhu stuff. I am playing Blue-Eyed Bailey. He is a con man / financier kind of guy. He came out here looking for money, looking to make a name for himself, just maybe looking to take advantage of a few rich folks, but that has backfired, and he has ended up in the middle of this these shenanigans of evil darkness. So I don't know. My money is not on Bailey for surviving because he lacks a lot of the physical attributes that you might require to survive in the Yukon. So we'll see.
Like a gun?
Like a gun, like strength, like wilderness skills, survival, all those things. Yeah.
Okay, let's go over to Gina.
Okay. Hi, I'm Gina. I love role-playing games, and I love role-playing games so much I do them not only in my free time, but in my real life stuff as well. I've been streaming and podcasting games for almost a decade now. And in our game, which I'm so excited that it's our session 11, but I'm so sad because it means there's only 2 more sessions. I play Katie McGraw, who is a fur trapper, but also a resident mystic. So she has newly empowered by whatever powers she has, that she just kind of recently discovered is something she can semi-control and direct. So she's kind of excited about that. And she also has a raven companion named Edgar. That's it.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Alan.
I'm Alan. I hate role-playing games, and that's why.
Oh, boo!
No,
That's
I'm
a hot
Alan Barr.
take.
What? Right?
I said that's a hot take for you.
Right, there's
There you
your
go.
hot take. I'm Alan Barr. I run and operate Gallant Knight Games. I'm the primary designer of Tiny D6, including Tiny Cthulhu. And that's all you need to know about me, I think. I'm not very interesting. I'm playing Jameson Moore, the sled dog musher explorer person who shoots first and asks questions eventually, probably, maybe. We'll see. Questions are hard. So we'll get there if we get there. And he is floating along on a trigger's edge right now. Because I'm running with I have 1 corruption left. So I am like right in that way, right into the end of the campaign. Yeah, it's bad. If like 1 bad corruption roll and I'm just gonzo. Like we're done. This is all she wrote. So.
And we have 2 sessions, so let's see if you can stretch that 1 point out for 2 whole sessions.
I can assure you, Twitch commenter, that while I might kill Bailey, Molly, Katie, and Edgar, I will not kill my dogs.
That's
Right.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
More like you start just living alongside them out in the
Yeah.
wilderness.
Yeah.
Sled dog feral.
Yes.
Exactly. They'll tell stories about Jameson, the crazy sled dog man, in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I am Ashley, and I also enjoy role-playing games. I have a few other podcasts. We were talking about hot takes and arguing over podcasts earlier. That's Full Metal RPG is one of the shows that I do, which we would love to have Alan and his RPG hating hot takes on. So, yeah, it'd be great.
So wild
do that.
representation of what happened.
Oh, I meant what you just said. I wasn't even
Oh.
there for the comment about Shadowrun. So, yeah.
There was no.
I also have a different show I do called Memory Alpha, where we set it in the Star Trek universe using Tiny Frontiers, which is another of Alan's systems. So, so that's the stuff that I do in gaming. In this game, I play Molly McGee. She's a new money dilettante. She's a widow. She was doing the Gold Rush thing with her husband. He died mysteriously. And so now I'm up here, and I too am trying not to die. So.
Mysteriously.
Mysteriously. Yes. Mystery.
Awesome. Okay. And I'm Maddie Murdoch. I just am a freelance writer for all kinds of games. And,
Who's kind of mad about RPGs?
yeah, they're okay. No, they are definitely my life right now. So I'm so glad. Okay, now let's go ahead and just have a short recap of what happened last time, which is that you finally made it out of the mine after so many shenanigans involving the return of Delilah Whitaker and also the return of the infamous Curtis, who was supposed to be dead and is not quite dead and is now somewhere in a black hole that, Delilah sealed him in. The other thing that you all came to kind of recognize as you came out of the mine is that the town is going berserk. Most of it is on fire. All of the miners are kind of running around, shooting into the sky, basically rioting, trying to find anyone to kind of pin the blame on for all of the strange things that are happening, including the fact that none of them can leave the town. So a couple of people tried to run away, including Jameson, just try to go into the forest, try to kind of remove themselves from the burning mayhem that is now Porte Blanche. And there is some type of invisible barrier surrounding the entire town. And this barrier seems to have been created by using kind of the pieces of dead miners arranged in a circle that have created this wall.
Oh, that's right, because they were fresh to old, right?
Yes.
Fresh to not fresh.
Yes.
So excited.
Yes.
Oh, they've been working on this.
Fresh muscular.
It's a work in progress.
we ended last time's session with specifically Jameson kind of seeing through the barrier and realizing that all of the major pillar citizens of the town, who everyone is kind of calling cultists at this point, are kind of sprawled out, spread eagle on the ground with strange kind of spiritual stakes driven through their hands and feet, as if they're kind of pinned down onto the ground. You're also noticing that there's some very strange lights in the sky above the town in the middle of this barrier, as if perhaps something is about to come out of the sky. So now we're going to actually start with Molly, Katie, and Bailey, because you three are in the sheriff's, I guess you're with the sheriff in the jail. You came across the dead body of her deputy, Henry, and in his hand he had a piece of paper, which some of you were trying to kind of pry free when the sheriff showed up and said, hey, we need to stop whatever's going on right now. So we're going to go ahead and pick up right there. So I don't remember which of you decided to kind of pull the paper out of Henry's hand.
I think Bailey did, but I gave it to Katie immediately.
Yeah,
because
and
I was like, this is not for me. This is definitely Katie's purview.
And I know that we already sussed out, both from observation and then from the sheriff confirming it, that Henry's death was Barden's work. So Barden killed him. The sheriff was reluctant to get involved because she was scared, I think. And we were trying to kind of say, look, you need to make a stand and do the thing.
Right.
But also, you're right. We have the paper.
Yeah, that was in his possession. We don't know. I don't know if we actually like read it. Did we?
Not quite.
Yeah.
Kind of saving it for today.
Okay.
Cool.
Great.
Okay. So, Katie, do you want to read the paper?
Oh, totally. I mean, look at it. I don't know that I can read it, but we'll see.
Okay. So this is a paper that's kind of been like torn out of the book, the Laughter Beyond the Sky book, right? So it's been kind of crumpled up. You kind of open it, smooth it out just a little bit. And indeed, it is written in those strange kind of runic texts. That's definitely not something that you understand, but you can tell that someone has scrawled notes kind of in the margins. And as you kind of peruse this marginalia, you're realizing that what you have is specifically a page that is describing kind of what you just saw outside, some type of creation of a doorway. And this doorway was opened specifically using sacrifices of thousands of people. And so obviously, like, they've been doing this for a long time here in Porte Blanche. And once they reached a certain number of sacrifices, the door will open into the sky and invite someone. And it doesn't quite say, as if like perhaps whoever was writing the marginalia didn't exactly want to name this thing, but it would invite some type of entity from beyond the sky down to this planet. Now, the reason that this particular page is probably one that Henry pulled out is because it seems like there is actually a diagram drawn in the corner, which kind of outlines almost a diagram of the town, as if someone was kind of making plans on how to open this doorway above Porte Blanche. So you can kind of see some pencil marks indicating the main street, the roads, the location of the graveyards, the location of the barrier circle around the entire town. And in a couple of different spots on this diagram, you're also noticing that someone drew kind of some X's, as if to indicate that those places were important or significant in some way. It doesn't actually say what those markings mean, because there's no actual like wording to point out different pieces of this map. But it does give you at least a little bit of a clue as to maybe what's going on.
I would definitely relate to the others what looks like it's going on in there, and that somebody has made notes and point out the X's. And you said it pretty much indicates that there are body parts from sacrifices that are going to create this barrier or
It
assist in the
seems
door opening.
it kind of indicates something of the sort. Now, Katie specifically has not seen the barrier. She has not
Right.
seen that
True.
line of body parts yet, so she doesn't quite put all the pieces
it.
together for what's going on. But she definitely at least has a diagram of the different shapes and pieces to this plan.
So for sure, just like point out to everybody what I think I see, because they might see something also.
So these X's, since we kind of have a vague idea of this is the town, do we know about where those X's are? Like, are they landmarks within the town-ish?
Yes. So as you kind of situate it, kind of figure out like what part is where, you notice that there's specifically one X where the gallows is. And if you recall, the gallows was built on top of the church site that was burned down. You see another one that is in the hotel. And you see one more that is kind of down the hill just a little bit in the tent town.
Okay.
Well, these markings probably are something important, but I don't know if they're places we should go or places we should avoid. That's my $1 million question. If we go there, could we shut down whatever they're doing, or are we going to be walking into a trap?
The sheriff kind of pipes up and she says, the trap's already been laid and set and perhaps even sprung.
I mean, it
So
could
who
always
all
get
has seen
worse.
that barrier? Who's all seen the barrier? Just
no
Jameson
one-
at this point?
Yeah, just Jameson. So no one in this room.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we've only seen strange sort of lighting up above. We haven't seen like specifically a doorway or more creatures or anything like that.
Not yet.
It's a good answer. Not yet. I'm like, oh, good.
Great. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I think it's
Not to
likely.
tip my hand or anything.
Yeah.
That's next chapter. Okay.
It is,
Yeah.
I think it's most likely we're going to see both of those things. Likely they'll be protecting those spots if they're important, but if they're important, we also need to disrupt or destroy whatever's going on there.
I agree. I think
Sure,
that's
yeah, I
exactly
mean-
what we need to do.
I can't disagree with that. I just
Which is
wonder
the
if we know how to
least
do that.
creepy.
The least creepy.
Old gallows on a burnt out church.
That's the
Mhm.
most creepy.
Yeah, hotel.
We
And
just fought a tentacle monster at the hotel, so
tent town.
I say
Minor.
Tent Town. Mhm.
Yeah, I was feeling Tent Town, and I'm definitely feeling it now.
Okay.
Now the
Seems the
sheriff
safest.
kind of pipes up and she says, I really didn't believe in all of this when Barden was telling me that stuff would come out of the sky and all that stuff. And but everything that he told me, and that was very little. I didn't know any of this was happening. I didn't know that he was murdering people. I didn't know that he had any type of nefarious plan. I just know specifically that he had me participate in that strange ritual, and he said it was specifically for my safety.
Mhm.
So, and I know
Just
that he was, and yeah, she does indicate like the ritual that gave her the marks in her hands and in her feet. And she says specifically, I know that every single person in the town that I saw that had been handpicked by Barden to be someone who he thought was worthy of being safe. So I don't know about the three of you, but the three of you don't have those marks, which may pose a problem in case something actually comes out of the sky.
Well, I think things have already come out of the sky.
I think Bailey is right.
We're a little late on that.
Do us a favor, Sheriff. You want to do a little spin, turn around real quick. Does she have her hair in up or?
Yeah, it's kind of in a kind of
Okay.
low ponytail.
I see where you're going with this now.
I'm watching with interest.
Okay, she kind of turns around slowly, has her hand on her pistol at her side, just in case, because this is a weird request.
Do we see a tattoo?
Yeah.
You do not, actually.
Okay, I thought so. Best to be sure.
So if we look close at these marks that they have on their hands, what do they look like?
So they
Do they look like
they just look like scars, as if someone could kind of like maybe like poked her with like a pencil or a sharp stick or something. It doesn't go all the way through. It just is in the palm, as if they were just kind of pricked there.
So this is something that we might be able to just do to ourselves if needed. If we wanted to look like we had them, we could probably get a sharp stick and just kind of poke.
She says, I mean, I'm no magic user, but when we were getting it done in the ritual, I mean, there was a lot more involved. The preacher did some dancing and chanting, and he read out of the book, and the sheriff actually points to the page in your hand, Katie, and she says, yeah, he was reading off of that page. And if you look at the back of what you were looking at just now, you notice that, there's another kind of side to the page. And it seems to outline a little bit more about that ritual that supposedly Barden wanted Molly and Delilah to take part in.
I see what you're thinking, Miss McGee, but there's a lot of folks in this town that don't have that mark, and they deserve to be safe as well. So,
I was thinking using it to get into places, like if there's someone who, so it's not necessarily being safe from the monsters. We just need to make it look like we have it in case we come up across someone else who has them and we want to get somewhere.
Fair point.
Mm-hmm. So
who has a sharp stick?
I'm not super worried about. I think
I'll find a sharp stick. Like I'll find a stick that's will do the job, because we just need to make it look like an indent. It sounds like so, and I'll just put it in my pocket of my muff that I'm holding things in, just in case we need it. We can just do it real quick, because if we're gonna just do like a superficial indent, it'll need to be fresh anyway. Probably. I'm probably overthinking this. However, I'm going to have that with me just in case it comes up.
Okay.
Can we just do the ritual and protect ourselves? Like, I'm down for that. If that's a thing.
The sheriff kind of shrugs and says, I mean, I had it done and I'm okay. I would think that maybe if you were worried about those creatures coming out of the sky, then you might want to do it too.
First in line for back communion. I don't know that I like to do that, but
well, I'm just saying. I'm not saying no to it.
Well, I mean, if you want to try, the sheriff kind of says, I could maybe practice what I saw the preacher doing.
Let's do it. I volunteer. If it will protect me, if you're saying it's going to protect me, I will do it.
It would make sense.
All right.
And I'm super antsy to get out of there. So
I'm not a fighter like y'all. I need everything I can get.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Okay. Well, it might take me a few moments to set up, but I guess. And she kind of looks at poor Henry's body on the floor. She says, "I gotta clean this up first and draw some circles on the ground." So,
What?
I'll get on that. And she kind of picks up Henry's body and kind of drags it in the corner.
Poor guy.
Katie, what did you do?
I might go do some recon.
Okay.
On the spot but I want to let these guys know, just like there's a spot I'm going to try to observe, because I'm going to try to wait for them, but I don't really want to participate in the ritual. And I just, all hell is breaking loose right outside. So I'm kind of anxious to get going. So, but I do want to wait for them. But like if I could just break off and go scope some stuff out while they're doing, and then wait for them and just try to chill.
Sure.
Okay.
Now, I will remind you, as you kind of step outside and look around, before you came to the jail to go look for Henry and the sheriff, you actually were at the gallows, because that's kind of where Duff was hiding from everyone, right? He was kind of hiding underneath the gallows, behind one of the kind of legs of the stand, and he was just kind of like watching everyone. And when you were there, you didn't notice anything in particular that was odd or strange about that location. But now that you know that is a place of significance, if you'd like to return to kind of further investigate, that is a possibility. But I'm just kind of reminding you that's what happened.
Yeah, I could do that if I can do that on the way too, because I think they were interested also going to Molly and Bailey. You guys want to go to the tent place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing the ritual. I still have my stuff where I'm going to fake it. I'm not doing the ritual.
No, that's also brilliant. I think that's a really good idea.
I'm 100% doing it.
I think that makes total sense.
Okay.
And I don't less of you for doing it either. I think that makes total sense. I just think she'd be too anxious to just like go start taking care of business and doing what she could. So is it Molly, you want to come with me and we'll go wait for Ploy and the sheriff?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And we'll just have some agreed spot on the outside of the tent camp, maybe. But we could stop by the gallows on the way.
Yeah. Yep.
So the tent camp is down the hill toward the river, and so the gallows in the opposite direction. It's like basically on the far end of the furthest end of the city that's like, or the town that's just past or just on the way to the mine.
How many minutes though would it really take us to kind of veer that way and then head down there, since we're going to have a few minutes?
Not very many. It is a tiny town. It'll take you like 6 minutes to like walk to the gallows, and then maybe another.
What do you think, Molly?
Yeah, I think the ritual is going to take more than 6 minutes. So I'll bet we could probably go and check it out before.
Cool.
Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump over to Jameson real quick, because we left you in a little bit of a shocking scenario. And unfortunately, we're going to start with a corruption test, because the thing that you just was horrible.
This is it.
So let's see some of that famous Alan Barr luck.
All right. Got my little dice tray. I got my dice. Here we go. Yeah. So whatever jerk designed this game did not do a good job, and it's mechanically broken. And
yeah. So that means you failed?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have a choice. Do you want to lose that final corruption point?
Mechanically, if I lose the corruption, I'm out of the game because I'm corrupted and I've subsumed to the power of the mythos out there. But if I say no, I lose D6 days of time right now.
Let's do it this way. Instead of you lose D6 days of like control of your character, let's say that I introduce a new motive that would be maybe opposite of what your character would actually
a madness, so to speak.
Not necessarily a madness, but it's just like an introduction of an idea that maybe takes over the rest of your motives. So obviously,
we'll do that. That's fine.
Okay. All right, because originally your motive was specifically to run away from the town, get as far away as possible. So after seeing what you saw, right, with the barrier, the body parts, the strange citizens kind of laying in the snow just outside of the outskirts of town, just across the barrier, you get a strange desire that you are very curious about whatever it is that those people wanted to bring out of the sky. it is kind of this morbid curiosity of, well, I am going to die anyway. I might as well see what's going to kill me.
And the best way to find out what they were trying to bring out of the sky is to help them complete the ritual, right?
Yes. So whether or not you want to be overt or subtle about this new motive that your character has, I'll let you decide. But Delilah is with you, and she is shocked. She is horrified by this thing that she saw. But she doesn't know what to do, so she's just kind of like, Jameson, there's dead people everywhere, and there's people on the other side of this wall, and what are we going to do?
Miss Delilah, you know how to enact the ritual effect that was summoning the monster out of the sky's hole thingy.
I do not. That was something that was specifically written in the book, The Laughter Beyond the Sky, which I've never read. If maybe we could find that book, I suppose I could potentially read it. I don't know. I've never actually seen it. Supposedly
Sure.
it's written some type of script, ancient text.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, let's. It seems like whatever sorcery this is here has trapped us in town. So let's head on back to everybody else and see what we can't rally together with our compatriots.
No, that sounds very sensible. Of course, I'll follow your lead. But it does seem a little odd that well, we can't leave the town. This seems very similar to what Curtis did to us in the mine, kind of trapping us there in this supposed doorway.
Right.
So
Which would have the effect of trapping whatever came out of the sky hole in this doorway thingy.
Yes, that's exactly right. So it must mean that whoever created this barrier and trapped us here has the intention of, once the creature comes through the doorway, to open it up or dissolve it completely so that it can have free reign across the world, I suppose.
Sure. But if this dome were to remain standing, then one could study the creature inside the dome safely for the foreseeable future.
Interesting notion. I mean, I suppose hypothetically that is possible, but I don't know that Barden would actually want to do that. It seems that he was more interested in...
Oh, we lost Ashley.
Oh no.
The creature got her, took her to the hole in the sky.
Internet first.
Yeah, that's where it always starts, right?
It always starts with the internet.
Yep.
So, and
Do you think...
you're the one who got us through with the magic doorways last time Curtis did this. So you have a way outside of this dome.
Well, you see, the last time I created a doorway outside of anywhere, it was kind of by accident. So, I mean, but technically, I suppose that doorway is still open. I opened up that doorway in the mine, and so if we go back to that pit, we could potentially go through it and go back to the cave that Curtis took me to originally.
Sure.
Which is probably how that bear got in the mine. I mean, you all told me that there was a bear, so I'm just assuming that if a bear can come through on that side, you could probably go through on this side.
All right, well, we should ride back into town.
Okay.
And
well, I'll follow your lead. I mean,
yeah, why don't you? I'm kind of trying to lay low after shooting what's his face in the street a couple times. So why don't you lead and I'll follow?
Okay. Your friends just went to the jail, so I suppose we can head there. Although we might want to circle around. It seems like there's a lot of trigger happy people on Main Street right now.
Let's take a more circuitous route, as it were.
Sure.
And when we're at the point farthest from town, you know what, Marty, I will message you this idea.
Uh-oh.
That's this idea that you have. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this sounds bad for everybody.
Hey, hey, maybe he just wants to give me compliments. Who knows?
Yeah.
How great this GMing is.
Yep.
I'm not crazy. We're good. Oh, Ashley is back.
Yay!
Yay.
There's absolutely no way that Bailey's secret message has anything to do with shooting anybody.
I would really shoot someone.
He doesn't even have a gun. You mean Jameson?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what I meant.
I'm not gonna shoot it. Who would I shoot?
I don't know. Who
I
would you
shot
with?
everybody who needs to be shot. I think I've covered my bases thoroughly here.
Unless we're trying to stop the thing that you are now trying to make happen.
You don't
It
know
might be
nothing.
us.
You don't know nothing.
No.
All right.
That is very metagame.
Yeah.
That's a
No,
big-
don't even. No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no meta's here.
Mm-mm.
But all right. Let me know when I get back to the gel or gallows where my friends are. Both are ominous and not comfortable.
Dang.
Okay. All right. Well, Jameson and Delilah are going to kind of take the long way around back to the jail. So we're going to go ahead and start with Katie and Molly as they. And you said, did you want to go to the tent town first or the gallows? I couldn't quite remember. Sorry.
The gallows. We're going to stop by the gallows before we meet back up with
Yeah.
Ceremony Man and go down to the tent thing.
Yeah.
Ceremony Man.
You're now Ceremony Man, yeah. Mhm.
You are totally
Sounds like a terrible superhero name.
He has like secret handshakes with everyone and stuff.
Right.
Right, that's it. That's his power.
Okay. All
I've
right.
seen worse superpowers.
It's true. Yeah.
True.
Okay, so as you head down there, again, there's chaos down Main Street. And so you'll probably want to kind of take the back alleys between the buildings down the hill. So as you're going down there, I'm going to have each of you make some type of sneak roll so that you can potentially avoid being seen by all the miners that are rioting on Main Street.
Okay. I got a 1 and a 5.
Okay, that's good enough.
Yes.
Got a 6 and a 1.
Excellent. Okay, so both of you are able to kind of zip between all of the shadows of the different buildings, and you're able to get out fairly easily. But none of the miners see you. Okay, so as you're kind of approaching, do you have like a specific angle that you're trying to take? Again, are you trying to kind of sneak up on it, or are you trying to? What exactly is your game plan once you arrive? I suppose that's what I'm asking.
I think when we get there, just to look around, like, I don't know, inspect maybe the gallows themselves to see if there's any like weird things carved on them or anything that would be weird looking based on what we've seen on this page.
Okay. As you approach, again, you're kind of looking at it a lot more in, I guess, like carefully than you were before. And as you notice that there aren't exactly anything strange like carved into the wood, but you do see that there is somebody kind of laying underneath. From the boots, you can immediately tell that it's Duff because he was kind of hiding there before. And as you kind of approach and you kind of look underneath, you notice that Duff is not moving.
Oh.
Okay. If we go up and get a better look at him, can we see why? Can we like confirm that he is in fact dead? Was he shot or just held his breath until he died because he didn't want to be there anymore? I don't know.
As you take a look, you can't exactly tell unless you like crawl underneath there, but just with a quick glance underneath there, it seems like there's perhaps like some blood pooling around him just a little bit.
Okay.
So there are probably folks around, but is anybody paying a lot of attention or seeming like they're guarding it or
not
the location?
particularly? They're just kind of running back and forth. You're occasionally hearing gunshots. It sounds mostly like they're kind of just like rummaging around in some of the other buildings as if they're trying to find like Mr. Frank or Mr. Riggs. They completely burned Barden's house, so it seems like they're done with that, but they're kind of methodically kind of running between all of the other buildings, searching or, you know, shooting people and stuff like that.
Okay. Then I think we should go take a look at him. So I'd like to go see what's up.
Okay.
Because he was just trying to hide.
All right. Do you both kind of crawl underneath the gallows to kind of look at him?
Yeah, because he's kind of tucked in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my pointy stick out.
Yeah.
Okay. As you crawl under there, you notice that specifically his hands look completely mangled. And as you kind of look at them more closely, it looks like he chewed his own fingers off. And he has just kind of blood coming down there. And then as you're kind of taking a look at him, you also notice that it looks like he wrote something just on the bottom side of the gallows stage. And it looks specifically like he tried to write, and he didn't spell it very well, but he said something along the lines of, "Right here soon."
Okay.
It's not ominous.
Yeah.
Is there anything else under there?
Not really.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get out from under the gallows. And
Good idea.
yeah.
I want to do that, but I want to pull his body out.
Okay. As you do so, you notice that he's not actually dead. He just seems to have passed out from pain and from fear.
Duff. Kind of, I'm not slapping him, but I'm just trying to kind of get him to come to.
Okay. He doesn't quite look responsive.
Molly. I don't know what we're going to do about him.
Mm-hmm.
You said he looks like he was chewing his fingers right off.
Mm-hmm.
So I have two thoughts right now. The first is he seems pretty safe under there because with all of the chaos that's going on, at least he's protected. So if we're going to leave him, we might want to put him back where we found him. The other thought I had was that piece of paper had the 3 X's on it, and there's a whole lot of talk about sacrifices, right?
Yes.
So maybe we need to stop a sacrifice from happening on this spot. Maybe that's what these are.
Right. So just throwing this out there, but there was a lot of blood pooling from the harm Duff was doing to himself.
Mm-hmm.
And the message said right here, which could mean the town, and it could mean right here.
Yeah.
So leaving him there did not seem to be the best idea. While it might be a safer spot for him, is that blood pooling, to your point, doing something sacrifice-like?
Mm-hmm. So I climb back under there and start scooping out the dirt that has the blood on it.
Yeah.
And try and get it out from that spot and kind of kick it away. And then maybe if we put him behind the gallows, because there's the south end of town, if we put him back behind that, maybe it's not as crowded as the main area. And then that way he's out of the way, but he's also not on potential sacrificey hot spot. So.
Yeah, and
it's always good to drag unconscious people out of ritual circles.
Yeah, that's generally my.
I think so. I'm just wondering if there's something we mightn't do. I don't want to impair him, but I also don't want him to harm himself. So I don't know. I guess we just have to hope that when he's not in that location, that he's not gonna harm himself further.
To be indelicate, but at that point he's not our problem, so we can do what we can to keep him safe, but as far as keeping him safe from himself,
Yeah.
He's passed out. He doesn't seem like he's waking up. We can put him off to the side, and I think we have bigger things to worry about. So
I agree.
just put him back there.
So I think that's totally the right call. Do we see anything else other than Duff and the state he was in and the blood that was there in the message?
As you're kind of looking, just searching the gallows for any other clues, you notice that there's some kind of strange circle in not quite the center of the gallows, but kind of just on top of the gallows. And at first you think maybe it was like just a stain or like water or something. But as you take a look, it actually looks more like a shadow. And there's nothing there that you can see that's casting that shadow, but it's just this round shadow that's just there.
When I look up, do I see anything like in the sky? That
you look up and you don't see anything per se, but you do get this really strange feeling that there is something up there casting that shadow from really, really far away.
So all of the fires that are going on, what's the smoke doing?
Smoke, yep, just like before, right? When you kind of saw some of that ichor kind of just like go up, it does seem like the smoke is again kind of just acting in a way as if there's some type of updraft.
Okay.
Things out of the town into the sky.
Can I see if that's like some sort of ritual magic or spell?
You could try it, yeah.
Okay. Just I don't know if there's just like I know I can do a counter spell, but just to determine if there's some sort of spell or magic, should I just make a standard?
Yeah, let's go ahead and have you do a standard one.
Okay. I got 3 and a 5.
Okay. You aren't sure if you can do anything about this shadow, but you kind of have the sense that maybe this shadow is the shadow of something that's kind of about ready to come down. Very similar to maybe the shadow of a bird as it kind of alights onto the sidewalk or onto a roof or a rooftop or something like that. You just kind of feel like this shadow is just an omen for something to come.
In doing that, is there any way, and I would tell Molly that for sure, that I could just sense that. So some sort of portal or invitation is already sent for something to appear in this location. And it's one of the 3 that we saw on that little diagram, right? Mm-hmm. Is there any way to tell if we can disrupt that at this point?
You're not sure exactly. It's a little bit hard to say, except for the fact that, if something is going to land here, it's probably a good idea to make it a place where this thing won't want to land.
Like the pigeon strips that they put up on buildings, something spiky or
Or a great big fire.
Exactly what it is.
That's what I was thinking, is just
tape to put up there.
Yeah, just tape a bunch of CDs to the ground because they totally had those in the Yukon in the 1880s. What if it was a fire? That's not a bad idea. What if we just lit a giant fire there?
Wait, are we back to letting the city on fire again?
Not the whole city, just the one part of this. Well, 3 parts of the city.
Hey, everybody else is, right? That's what Monty said. They're kind of hitting locations throughout the town.
Yeah.
Or we tell Bailey his dynamite idea is dynamite. like
put a thing of dynamite there, so as soon as it's landing, just blow it up,
or blow it up before, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just try to start it on fire, I guess.
Okay. So Katie and Molly are going to build a bonfire on top of the gallows.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we'll leave you there and we will go to Bailey.
Okay.
Really
sounds good.
Okay. While you're doing that. So Bailey, you saw through the window before when the preacher was kind of creating this ritual circle, right? You saw what
I
it
remember.
looked like.
Yeah, back at the church.
Exactly. What the sheriff is doing is a very, very crude mimic of that. She has very little idea of what she's doing. She's kind of trying to follow the pattern that she sees in this weird page of the book. And so she's kind of like drawing on the floor with what appears to be just a piece of firewood out of the stove. And she's just trying to kind of draw some weird symbols that she kind of thinks are right. And she's just arranging a lantern where she thinks it should go. And you're getting the sense that, I mean, she has no idea what she's doing, but she's trying.
I'm
Do
so
you want to
confident
try
in this.
to help her at all? Because you also saw the circle, and so you kind of know what it's supposed to look like.
Kind of, but not. I don't know if I know well enough. I mean, would Bailey would I actually know well enough to even be able to give any guidance, or would I be just like?
Well, you
too many
saw
cooks in the
the
kitchen?
circle a couple of times. You saw it the time when supposedly he did it for Queasy Martin in the back room, and you saw it again when they were preparing to do it for Molly and Delilah. So,
well, can I roll perception, and then we can just kind of see if I remember it, and if I can tell that it's different, and I'll just kind of let that decide.
Sure.
I assume I can get advantage because perception.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's
that is
3.
one of your skills.
Oh my gosh! Rotate to 3 dice, please. There we go. Let's see what we got. All right, 5 and 6 both.
Excellent. Okay, so you feel like you could do a much better job than she's doing. Because
I will be like, listen, this is not that. That line is curved. It's not supposed to be curved. I've seen this before. Your handwriting is awful. I'll give her pointers then.
Okay.
Pulling from that memory, that perception memory.
She's like, oh, okay. And she kind of tries to follow your direction, and she seems to be doing a little bit of a better job. And eventually she gets something that looks halfway decent, not nearly as clean or well practiced as what the preacher had, but something that looks crudely like the drawing on the page.
My whole life is built on halfway decent, so I will take that.
Okay. And she says, all right, well, I had to lay down in the circle, so I'm assuming that you have to as well.
Yeah. I will lay down.
And she says, no, you got to have your hands out so I can poke them. And you got to kick your shoes off, too.
Okay, shoes off. Hands out.
Okay.
Be gentle.
And she says, now, I don't have the chanting part down because I have no idea what this page says. But I know what he did, so I'm going to try that.
But isn't the chanting 90% of it?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, can you read this?
Can Bailey read it?
No. You have no idea what it says.
It's gibberish. Just make some noises that kind of sound like it. Maybe it'll be good enough.
She says, oh, okay. And she kind of takes her knife out of her belt and she says, this is going to hurt a little bit. And she
God.
She pricks just your hand, just a little. Enough to draw blood, but not enough to do significant damage. And then she pricks your other hand and she pricks your foot and then she pricks your other foot. And then as soon as she pricks your last foot, she kind of suddenly kind of shudders just a little bit. And then you see that this kind of glaze goes over her eyes and she looks up and she immediately begins to chant something very bizarre, almost inhuman with her vocal cords. It seems very strange that she, again, just minutes ago said she had no idea what she was doing and then suddenly is capable of just uttering this strange series of kind of echoey, garbled language.
She must have figured it out.
And as she's kind of chanting and saying this strange thing, the knife kind of falls from her hand and she starts making strange gesticulations with her arms and her fingers. And then you see coming very clearly through the ceiling of the jail as you're looking up, what appears to be some type of strange light that
Oh,
comes
wow.
out of the ceiling. And it's kind of like a little shaft of light. And it immediately kind of touches all of the little pinpricks that she put in your body. And you feel this really intense sense of something intensely cold has touched you. You've never felt cold like this before. It is so cold that you feel like your nerves have all exploded in pain. And then as soon as it comes, it's gone. And the light is gone. And suddenly the sheriff kind of steps back and she says, did it work?
This is the moment where Bailey realizes he may have made a terrible mistake. I don't know if it worked.
This point.
I've made a terrible mistake.
And she says, oh, okay. And she kind of looks at your hand and she looks at her own hand and she says, looks about the same.
Well,
And
here's
you
hoping.
notice that the wounds are kind of gone. There's a little scar left over, but it's no longer an open wound. It's not bleeding or anything like that.
Here's hoping. We'll see.
And she says,
If this works, then I'll be your deputy full time.
that sounds like a plan.
I forgot you were the deputy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she deputized him last time. She says, well, like I said, I only did this because Varden told me it would keep me safe, and I feel like this would just make sure that whatever's coming down won't be able to take us back up.
I'm like it down here. I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, should we go regroup with your friends?
All right, let's do it. I'm taking one of these cowboy hats.
All right, get a cowboy hat.
That's awesome.
And I think we also had you get the deputy pin off of Henry. So you're
I'll probably take his
totally
gun too,
deputized.
even though I don't know how to really use it. And I probably won't use it, but it's just for show.
Sure. Okay. All right. So you head back toward the gallows. You notice that Katie and Molly are kind of pulling firewood from the alley behind one of the dwellings, because that's kind of where the church was by some of the houses. They're kind of pulling firewood out and stacking it up, which is weird, but that's what they're doing.
I'm gonna walk up to them
Okay.
because they're working. I'll grab. We're burning the town down, aren't we?
Not the whole town, just this spot and then maybe 2 other spots.
All right.
Yeah. And explain about Duff and the message.
Sure.
You know, that sounds. I will agree. I feel like if you two are the ones saying burn it down, then it's probably. No, dude, burn it down is your first
Sorry, Alan.
response. Burn it down, blow it up, shoot it, and I think all of those are great methods.
Burn it down, blow it up, shoot it. We have your epitaph now.
Speaking of Jameson, Jameson comes up to you.
Jameson.
Yeah.
Howdy.
The doctor with him.
You do not see her.
Oh,
Oh.
I was wondering if we would.
Where? You got Miss Delilah in a safe space?
Yep.
Good.
I'm so convinced.
Jameson, we got a lot of
You got a
big
what?
fire. Got a lot of big fire here.
Why?
Because there's something coming right here.
Right. Okay.
Like soon.
Now,
I don't know how to do air quotes. Sorry.
you got that magic book that had the fancy words that made the monster show up in it?
Oh yeah.
The sheriff says,
I
mean,
do.
we have this page, but that's it.
No,
don't
I
know
still
what the other
I still have the alchemical truths, germinations of
Germinations of alchemical truths.
because the one that we don't have is the laughter from beyond the sky. Is that correct, Marty?
Yes.
Okay.
And the laughter book, the one with the jokes, is what makes the monster show up, right?
I believe that is true.
But you got a page from the book. So we should probably secure the page. Because if they get it, they can summon the monster, right?
And the sheriff kind of waves it around. She says, I guess. I mean, we can't really read it besides what's in the margins, but
What do you mean? Can I take a look?
she gives it to you.
Okay. Take it in my coat and run.
Yeah,
Where do you run?
That was very
Going
strange.
to happen.
I will absolutely run towards. I don't have a good place. Wherever Barton is. Do I know?
You do not know, but you can maybe guess that he is one of the people kind of spread out
We'll just
around the
do that.
perimeter.
Yeah, we'll run there.
Okay.
I'm literally going to watch Jameson run away. I'm not even going to chase him.
I'm debating whether we're supposed to run after him because he maybe has a really good plan.
I don't know. I'm just going to stand there and look back and be like, okay, what the heck was that about?
I don't know. Did he have a plan? Did he tell somebody he had a plan?
He didn't tell me he had a plan.
He was acting a mite strange, especially at the end there.
Yeah, I don't have no idea.
Ran away with the thing in his pocket.
Well, he's getting farther and farther away, so...
Should some of us follow him in case he's got a plan, or should we just start this fire? Or
I'm going to keep building the fire. I'm going to look at him and just think it's weird, but I'm going to keep going with the fire. And, yeah.
I don't know. Katie trusts Jameson more than anybody, except for maybe her family and herself. So I'm going to see what the plan is. I'll meet you at the other spot after you start this on fire. So I'm going to go run after him. I'm not. Okay. Obviously, it took a few beats so I'm behind him.
Okay.
See if I can keep my eye on him.
I'm going to look back at Molly and say, this is not even the weirdest thing we've seen today.
And I say, grab some wood, help. I lost my other helper.
So, Katie, as you're kind of following him, he went back where he came. So he just kind of showed up, took the page from you, ran back toward the edge of town. And as you kind of go there, you see that there's someone laying down just in between some of the buildings. And as you get closer, you realize that there is the body of Delilah Whitaker just kind of laying there.
Jameson! Jameson! I could call after him, but I don't know if he'll do anything. But
he'll stop. Turn around.
Okay.
Yep.
The doc looks like the doc's hurt.
I think she's dead.
Wait. What are you talking about?
Well, when you shoot somebody 6 times, they tend to die.
Well,
who shot Doc?
Sometimes.
I did.
What'd she do?
He was trying to do more magic stuff. She wanted to.
She were one of them?
Yeah, that's it. She was one of them.
I thought she was on our side.
Yep, me too. Surprise.
Now, Jameson, I'm gonna have you roll some type of deception. Like,
don't even bother.
No.
Just have her roll perception. It's fine.
Okay. Honestly, though, so unless he's being weird, which
super weird.
Sounds like he's being kind of weird.
He is being weird, but literally everything that he's actually said makes a weird sense for him as a person, because he's always been suspicious of magic. He's always been suspicious of the people in the town. I mean,
well, and I've had no reason other than that one time he pulled a gun on me and was going to shoot me, to not trust him with my life. That one time.
You're not really Jameson's friend until he's pulling a gun on you. So.
Right. If we're honest about it, I probably deserved it because I was talking about strange creatures in the sky, and
you're in the inner circle now. If you've had that gun pointed at you.
But did you want him to roll to see if I'm something's gonna break my
1 die, 2 die, 3 die? How many do you want?
Well, let's go ahead and have you roll 2 dice.
Okay. I super duper failed. Double ones.
Okay.
Whoa, your dice are not nice today.
Yeah, not today.
It's because they were so good the whole campaign, and now they're just so we're done.
Yeah, the dice are like, this is supposed to be a horror game. Gotta make it kind of scary. Okay, so Katie, you get this sense that there's something a little off about Jameson. I mean, he's usually very protective of his friends, and just an hour ago, it seems like he was very, very insistent on making sure that Delilah was safe, and suddenly that's completely
and I did ask if he had her in a safe place, and he said and he didn't really indicate that meant he shot her dead.
Right.
Yeah, it's safe. Ain't hoping killing her now.
That's true. She's not going anywhere.
Edgar on your shoulder kind of says,
Yeah.
He's not quite himself.
Oh no, Edgar. Oh no, not Jameson. Is she gonna cock her rifle? Like,
yeah. I don't think you don't do that, Katie. I don't want to put you down either.
I don't want to put you down either, but
that's cute. You think you can? Put your little gun away before I'm forced to draw on you.
And Edgar kind of whispers and says, "I don't know if you can win, Katie. He's not right."
I think we might need that page back, Jameson.
First thing I'm gonna do is shoot your bird. Thing freaks me out.
Jameson.
And I'm gonna eat it. Like fried up for food.
Wow. That got dark.
I'm unraveling. Here we go.
Let's go.
Crazy town. Choo choo.
I'm trying to think like as fast as I can, like what I could do.
Jameson is like slowly backing away.
I would like to spellify him.
Spellify.
I'm not okay with that.
I would like to bind him.
Okay. With the bind spell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Right. That's probably worse than shooting you. That's like,
Like if there's anything to make him shoot you back, I mean that's probably
no. And it's like, I'm really trying to think like, would she just let him go? Because it's Jameson and
he threatened to eat Edgar. I just want to remind you of that for a second.
And I happen to know he can't do that. But that was
why couldn't? Is there a reason he couldn't?
But he'll try.
It's a spirit. So
he's not a real
non-corporeal entity that just shows up looking like a we'll talk about it over a whiskey sometime. Where are you going?
Getting a spirit bird. So I guess
where are you going with that page?
Well, I'm gonna give it to Barton so he can summon the monster, and then I'm gonna kill Barton.
Do you even hear yourself?
Yep.
Summon a monster.
Yep.
Here, Porte Blanche.
Yeah, you can't study what you can't find, so we bring it here. We can study.
And then it kills you.
It ain't so easy to kill. Not like the doc. He kind of died.
Oh, that's sad.
Okay.
What do you want to do, Katie?
I'd be a good villain in a superhero game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna walk away instead.
Let him go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jameson, you are able to walk away.
Because I don't think there's anything else I can do. Like, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go ahead and pause there, take our break. We'll take a 7-minute break, and we'll be back in a little bit.
That was good.
Break time.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I'm back.
Hey, that was so intense. That was really hard. Sorry, my house is like 80 something. And it's, well, it is. And it's like San Pedro, right on the harbor,
Okay.
right by the ocean. So there's no air conditioning here. So it's like, I don't know what was going on with my fan earlier. I had it on a chair, but there was vibration, I think is what was being weird.
No.
You changed your background.
I just made my lights green.
You can't we usually see a closet or something?
Oh, so in my office I flipped my desk
Nice.
in the other direction. So you
I
don't
like
have
it.
my closet anymore.
Yeah, I like it.
I might put bookshelves back here. I haven't decided how much room I have.
Today was the first time I think Ryan had his camera tilted that far to his left.
Mm-hmm.
I could see his bookshelves. I love seeing people's bookshelves.
Well, maybe we'll do a video tour of my bookshelf rooms.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Like 13 bookshelves.
Seriously.
I have so in my office I have these 3 right here.
Nice.
The game room is out that door, and in there are another 10, 13 maybe. And then in my bedroom upstairs in the master, there's another 4.
Whoa.
I like books.
I think I have these you see behind me. Those are my games. Oops, we're back.
We were talking about bookshelves.
Yeah.
Alan, are you
I have
wearing a
bookshelves.
Full Metal RPG shirt? I was like, you're wearing the classic shirt. Yeah, nice.
Oh.
I saw the candle and I was like, I recognize that.
I had it forever. So
Yes, awesome. We are not going to sell it anymore at all after, I think, Monday or Tuesday, because we're retiring it with Brendan. So,
Oh, I saw it was on sale, but I didn't know you couldn't. Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to pick it up.
I have one too. I like it.
I really like the logo one, too. That's just the logo.
Mm-hmm.
I like them both.
I like this red light that you're putting up, Alan, to show
I
you
know.
how Jameson is.
Well, he's evil now, so he had to switch to the.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true. I was told him
Mirror
that was.
Universe Alan has no beard.
Right.
It's the opposite of how it
In the
normally
mirror
is.
universe, yeah.
In the mirror universe, I'm clean
Gold
shaven. This is
sash
as good as it gets. So.
Mhm, mhm.
That was intense, though. I was saying that was. I was like, I can't. Jameson can't be evil, Jameson, but he is.
I mean, evil is relative, right?
It's true. It's just what's the motivation, and
He just wants to do science on this eldritch horror from beyond the soul.
Yeah, because Jameson's always been really into science.
right?
Yeah.
Big hobby.
It's a private passion project.
They call him the science guy, don't they?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's his nickname. Around
Maybe it's
town,
better
right?
for pulling sleds. You don't know.
Yes, yes.
They probably are better for pulling sleds. You could get a flying sled. Imagine your travel times.
I'd be Santa. It'd be great.
Yeah.
And this is a prequel to Santa Claus
Eldritch
story.
Santa.
What we're finding out.
He just wants his dogs to be able to retire and have a nice cushy life by becoming
like,
Eldritch Santa and having him.
Krampus.
Mhm.
Eldritch Santa.
I'm kind of curious because I still have all 7 of my 7 corruption points, and Jameson's goose egg.
Well, you've been.
No, I'm at 1 because I chose to go loco.
Yeah, and then
I've
Ashley-
been not. Every time I fail one, I've been choosing to lose them because
Yeah.
I saw what happened when somebody went off the end a little bit and they became a
Yeah.
bird, and I was like, it's not really for me.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah. Well, and it depends. And I get the re-roll thing, so that's helped me.
Yeah.
With the
And I
mystery,
start
right?
with less than everybody else.
Yeah. Because Ashley and I both started with 7, I think.
Yeah, and I've lost 2, so I still have 5 of my 7.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What are you sitting on, Brian?
I've got 2 left.
Oh,
left.
that makes total sense. Extra sense that you would want that.
All right. Well, we're back from break.
Yeah.
I've gone off the deep end, and I am actively attempting to undermine the group's goals. So we'll see how this plays out. I'm excited.
Maddie's got to help her.
Katie left you off easy, so.
I did.
That was true.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, the problem was only one party in that exchange was willing to throw down, and it wasn't her.
No. Yeah, she 100% was not going to be able to do that, even though she was threatening it. Yeah.
And normally Jameson wouldn't have, but he's not in a good place. He's
Right.
Yeah. Couple days.
Yep.
That's one way to say it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Katie, you basically walk back. I mean, Jameson took off toward what you're not exactly sure because you're not sure about the barriers yet. You don't know. But from what you can tell, Jameson is just taking off outside of town. He did specifically tell you that he intended to give Barton the page that he just got from the sheriff. So that you know for sure. So in my mind, but I want to see what everybody else wants to do. Like we either put that on the back burner, or that becomes what we need to do next is to go find. But I'll head back to them. Sure. So Bailey and Molly, you see Katie come back without Jameson. Oh, could I have one retro? And that would be just to stop at Delilah to make sure, what he said was right. So, yeah, unfortunately, he did shoot her with every bullet in his gun. She is
probably reloaded and did it again. Like, he was very thorough.
But by the time she gets back, do we have the good fire going, or are we still not quite started it yet?
You definitely have. But you are kind of a little worried because you don't want to attract too much attention to yourselves because there are still kind of rampaging miners. And so if they see you doing something a little weird, they might be kind of inclined to stop you, to say it nicely. So you feel like you have to hurry before the miners kind of notice what you're doing. So you're able to kind of scrounge together a pile of firewood and you light it quickly. Okay. As soon as you do that, Molly, you can kind of see that shadow that you were trying to kind of cover up with this bonfire and potentially prevent, it does seem to kind of move away as if it's kind of retreating. It's kind of getting smaller, and eventually it kind of disappears. Okay. So you feel like this fire idea, by all accounts, seems to be working.
Okay, cool. So I relay that.
Excellent. Do either Bailey or Molly ask Katie what just happened?
Yeah, as soon as Katie comes up.
I would have.
Where's Jameson? What's the plan?
Jameson has gone off the rails. Jameson is, I don't know what's going on. He's planning on giving that page to Barton and kill Miss Delilah. Like he emptied his gun on her.
Well,
I don't know what's wrong.
Don't know how surprised I am.
Yeah. My first thought is we can't let him get the page to Barton.
Well, how do we stop him at this point?
Well, we could try, or we can get rid of Barton.
You didn't shoot him? Or shoot him in the leg or something to try and stop him from getting away?
I didn't have a chance. Or something like that.
Or something.
Is that part audible?
I just want to register that I am deeply offended that everybody assumes this is normal for Jameson. And it wasn't
no.
That really bothered me. That makes sense. That seems like a thing he'd do.
No. I don't think that you'd kill Delilah because you tried very hard to keep her alive with us in the mine. So it's more of a that's weird and doesn't sound right. But most importantly, we need to get the paper away from him so he doesn't give it to Barden.
But
I say we just go kill Barden and we find him before Jameson does, and he's the biggest problem, and he has been for I don't know how ever long this has been, a week or so, for days.
Even longer, because he came up here to do this.
Probably the reason Jameson is being the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was gonna say. It's not. I don't think that any of us just assumes that Jameson would normally just like kill her, but like we could probably have been able to tell for a while that Jameson was close to the edge.
If we get to Barden first, then he ain't got anybody to give that page to.
Well, that makes sense to me.
And we've got Miss Delilah's other book, because the laughter book was the Reverend's. The one we have was Delilah's father's book. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes good enough sense to me.
Let's go get that.
Okay. So where do you go look for Barden? I mean, obviously Jameson went in one direction. Do you follow Jameson's trail, or do you go somewhere else? Because Barden's house is on fire. It has been burning for a little while now, so it's probably unlikely that he's in there.
Knowing what we know of the town, where are even some places that he could be, assuming that he's still in the town? I mean, what's even left standing where Barden would make a have a hideout?
Generally, Barden really only spent time either in his house, in the kind of bank right next to your financier's office, or the church. The church is gone. Gallows is there. He's not there. So it seems likely that if he's not in his house and he's not in the church, you could look in the bank.
Is the sheriff still with?
She's with Bailey and Molly.
Yeah.
So she's kind of.
Do you have an idea of where he and his posse would?
Well, after he killed Henry, he said he was leaving town. So I'm assuming he's long gone somewhere. He went in the direction of the mining camp down the hill.
We needed to go there anyway, so might as well head that direction.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Because Jameson did not head that way.
Well, then if he didn't, then maybe we'll get there before Jameson does.
Because did he kind of go the opposite direction?
Yeah. Jameson, he came from, I'm assuming, kind of like the mine area. Because that's kind of where he and Delilah went from the mine to kind of leave the town. And so he kind of went in that direction.
That direction.
Toward the forest, away from the river. And so you are going to go down to kind of the low level where the tent town is.
Okay.
So again, as you're kind of walking away down Main Street, you notice that there's a kind of a roar as the miners seem to kind of notice that there's something going on at the gallows. So I'm going to have each of you, do you guys want to sneak past them or kind of run away, or are you trying to avoid them at all? What's your plan?
The miners?
Yes. Because it seems like the miners have been alerted that something's going on at the gallows. There's a fire over there, like a bonfire.
I'm not so worried about it.
Burning everything down anyway, right? The miners were. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're just gonna let them.
Woohoo!
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything's burning.
Yeah. I mean,
Hooray.
Just one more thing on fire is all it is.
One of us.
We're with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got this.
You head down toward the tent town, and it's a little bit farther removed, so it's maybe about 10-minute walk down the hill. Now you notice that it seems like all of the tents have been blown over. They're all kind of flat. All the tent poles are scattered everywhere. A couple of them seem to be kind of smoldering, but not quite too much because there's snow on the ground around some of these tents. But it seems like a heavy gust of wind just knocked the entire tent town over. And this is wow. Like a good 100, 200 tents. This is a lot of tents. But as you approach, you do notice that there's actually someone just kind of sitting there. You're not exactly sure who it is, but they're just kind of sitting amongst all of these tents.
Does it look like Barden? Can we get close enough to see?
It does not look like Barden. It actually looks like one of the miners. And the sheriff she draws her pistol and she says, what do you think he's doing? All the other miners are in town causing mayhem.
Does this figure look alive?
This person does look alive. In fact, you do see some movement, kind of some rocking back and forth. This person has their back to you.
Do we see any sort of like that, I don't know, cosmic horror spotlight thing?
Yeah, is there any circles there we can see?
You definitely see that there is some type of shadowy circle around this person.
Okay. Sheriff's got the right idea.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Y'all see that, right?
I don't know what I'm seeing, but I see something.
That's the same thing me and Molly saw on the gallows, where Duff wrote the message that something's coming soon.
This one looks a lot bigger than the one that you just got rid of on the gallows. So this one's probably like a good 10 feet across.
Oh, it never ends.
Mm.
Are we going to burn this one down too?
Yes, I think we should.
As you get a little bit closer, you notice that this figure is kind of just sitting, and it seems like he's digging a hole with his hands, just in the frozen ground, just kind of scratching at it, trying to move the dirt away. Occasionally he'll pick up a rock and kind of set it aside. And just sitting down, just scooping up handfuls of frozen ground. He's definitely kind of bloodied up his fingers and hands just a little bit, trying to scrape it away. He's just kind of muttering to himself.
Can we understand anything that he's saying?
It sounds mostly like he's kind of saying words like deep, down, get underneath, get away from the sky.
It's a normal sentence structure, yeah.
Oh, fella. Do we recognize him?
You recognize him as one of the miners,
Okay.
but you
We don't
don't
have a
really, you don't know a name.
Fella, come on over here.
And he kind of ignores you and continues to kind of dig.
I'll go try to pull him out.
Okay. He doesn't really resist. He just kind of like continues to kind of paw the air as if he still thinks he's digging while you kind of lift him up and pull him away.
Okay.
What you trying to do?
Talking at all?
He's still kind of just muttering like, we need to dig deep, dig down, go down.
Why?
And he just kind of looks up in the sky.
This is the same stuff Jameson was saying before he got even stranger. He wanted to go down. He had the cast iron pots and pans type.
Oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
Do you remember that? But what are we going to do about this guy?
I don't know if he should be doing that. Is him doing that in that space? Is that making way for whatever's coming?
You don't notice that his hole has made any difference to the shadow that's being cast. It seems more like he just became delusional and was suddenly
He just happened to be there
to go down into the ground. Yep.
Okay. Well, if we just move him outside of where the circle is, he can dig in the dirt. And then we can try and clear way to make fire here. If there's a lot of snow, we'll need to shovel some of the snow away.
Feller,
And then
you got any dynamite? Dynamite's a great way to dig a hole.
We
That's
lost
bad.
a lot of dynamite back in the mine.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But he's a miner. He might know where there's some close by.
Yeah.
And he kind of looks at you and he says, "Oh, The mine. Mine's a deep hole, isn't it?
That is what a mine is.
It's true. Yeah.
We should all go. We should all go there now.
No, we just came back from
No.
there.
But if we go down there now, then they can't get us.
There's
Can't.
things down there that will get you. We already saw them.
He said, but they're not coming out of the sky. They won't
They're
come out of the
holes
sky.
in the ground. It's just as bad. Believe me, it's even worse.
He kind of grabs you, Bailey, and he's like, "There's nothing worse than what's coming out of the sky."
Can I try to talk him out of this? Like, is this something I could do? Maybe.
You'll take advantage on it or disadvantage on it because he's not exactly in a place to be reasoned with.
But would that bring me back down to 2 dice then? Because I have advantage, or
No,
it's just straight down to. All right, well let's see how lucky we are, and we're not. That's it.
Okay.
Has no effect on him.
He says nothing. He doesn't really respond to whatever it is that you're trying to say to him. And suddenly he just kind of gets like a little shiver, and he looks up again and he says, "Oh, we gotta go down now. We gotta go down deep now." And suddenly, as you kind of notice the circle, it gets like very dark suddenly, and all 3 of you hear this horrendous shrieking noise, and it sounds exactly like the shrieking noise from those strange bat creatures that you saw before. And you instantly kind of feel this wind gust past you, and something swoops down out of the sky and just kind of grabs this miner and picks him up. And he just kind of screams as this thing just kind of sucks him back up into the sky. And the sheriff, she's trying to like shoot, but she doesn't know exactly what she's seeing. So she's just kind of like, what just happened?
I'm gonna hop back from that.
And she says, "Oh man, I hope that Barden was right about this."
Mm-hmm.
About this,
Me
she
too.
was saying.
Yeah, and she's kind of pointing to her hand.
I hope so
wanna try
too.
can we see the swoopage? Like it's really fast, but it's
It was fast, but it was something that you definitely saw, and it looked exactly like those creatures that you.
Can I try to take a shot at it?
You could try, yeah, absolutely.
okay. I got 1-5.
Okay, all right, you are able to shoot at it. Excellent.
Beans.
And yours does 2 damage because you have the big bag gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also gonna shoot at it.
Okay.
I missed.
All right. So both of you were able to get a couple of shots off. Katie, you shoot him. Molly, you don't. But I'm not going to have you go into combat because essentially what happens is that this creature seems to largely ignore you. It seems like it came down here to get someone, and it managed to.
My guess is too, like, could we kind of tell Maddie, even though it was like swooped and it was fast, is it larger than the one that we dispatched before, or is it about the same size?
It's about the same size.
Okay.
So
Cool.
So you definitely can kind of gauge, well, I did, a certain amount of damage to the last one that we were trying to defeat. So potentially, you kind of get a sense of how much it takes to kill one of these things. But that's assuming that this thing even sticks around long enough, because this definitely was like in and out of there within seconds.
Is that shadow still there? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The shadow is still there.
Okay.
Should we try the fire again?
Yeah, I mean, the shadow's still here. I would definitely say that we should still try and build this fire, because either it might come back or that might not have been the thing casting the shadow.
No, yeah, let's burn it down.
Okay.
Seems like the most prudent course of action to me.
All right. So there's plenty of things that are flammable all around. So you absolutely can drag like some tent poles and some stacks of firewood and things like that to kind of build another bonfire. And you're able to successfully light this one as well. And again, this kind of circle slowly disappears and eventually vanishes altogether. as you build your
Okay.
fire. So the last one that you seemingly have to build is going to be at the hotel.
Okay. So, okay, it's right there. All right, that's not too far. So I say that we get up there because if things are already swooping down and taking people, we need to get this done quick.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So you all head back to the hotel. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and jump over to Jameson just to let you know what's going on with you. Okay. So, Jameson, your dogs have been following you this whole time.
Okay.
They don't seem any like they're suspicious of you or anything. They're just kind of following you as usual.
Cool.
Not really aware that you are changed in any way. In fact, it does seem like they're happy to be in your presence. They're a little on edge when you get a little bit closer to the barrier on the edge of town, because they don't like the smell of all of the kind of corpse pieces around.
That's fair.
But as you approach, you can kind of see, again, across the barrier, because it's transparent, you see someone laying there, and it looks like Mr. Riggs. So that's definitely not Barden.
And we'll keep looking for Barden.
Okay. As you kind of walk along the edge of this barrier, you notice that there's Mr. Riggs over there. You see the postmaster over there. You keep going, you see Mr. Frank, and eventually you come to Barden, and he's just, again, like the others, just laying spread eagle in the snow with these strange kind of ghostly stakes through his hands and feet.
Tap the side of his head to see if he's awake.
Okay, he's on the other side of the barrier, so you can't quite get to him. But you do notice that the hand that you have the page with that's holding the page, kind of like it goes through up to a point to like your shoulder.
Hey, Barden, can you hear me?
And Barden, it seems like he kind of like is in some type of trance, but he does hear you, kind of stirs a little bit, and he kind of lifts his head and he looks at you and he says, "Ah, Mr. Moore. Enjoying yourself?"
I got these pages. Do you need them?
He says, "That might be nice." And he kind of like unsticks his hand and he kind of pulls it up as if it was really, really difficult, and he kind of frees it, and he pulls his other hand up and he pulls both his feet up and he kind of stands and he walks towards you and he says, "Why are you giving this to me?"
I've always been here to help you. Y'all just weren't paying attention to the secret cult signs we were sending out.
You didn't notice my handshake?
I'm like one of them sleeper agents.
And he says, "Oh, I can see that you're not quite yourself, are you?"
Are any of us ourselves?
That's
No.
deep.
Most of us won't be ourselves by the time this night is over.
Then don't matter who I am anymore. Do it.
Wise words from a man about to die.
I
I'm
know.
curious, why are you helping me, though?
I want to see the creature.
And Barden kind of laughs and he says, "The creature?"
We come down from the sky hole.
Yeah. He is coming, the
Right.
Dark Prince of Laughter.
I want to meet him. Want to know what kind of feller gets crowned the Dark Prince of Laughter? Seems like a mighty silly title.
Well, when you've lived up beyond the sky's edge and limits for long enough, I mean, it's easy to see how existence in its entirety might seem a little farcical.
Yeah, you're saying a lot of words. Look, do you want these pages?
And he kind of looks at you and he says, "This isn't a trap, is it? You don't have that little witch with you, do you?"
No, I shot her and she's dead.
You You killed her.
Well, yeah. That's what you do with witches.
Well, her father won't like that, but
Yeah, we're all
I
going to be dead.
suppose
Who gives a
after
crap?
tonight he won't really matter.
Yeah, who cares? So, you let me through so I can enter these pages, or what?
Unfortunately, I do not have the power to let you through. You didn't partake of the ritual,
I
unfortunately.
wasn't invited.
No, and now I'm kind of regretting that decision. I think perhaps you might have been a really worthy ally.
I'm useful. I'm good at shooting people.
And he says, well, it seems like the page does grant you some measure of ability to cross the barrier. Perhaps if you were to hold the page close, it might give enough of your body some of that energy to pass through the barrier. And he kind of steps back and he says, try it.
All right, I'll try it.
Okay. As you do that, you definitely feel like you're passing through the barrier, but at some point, part of you kind of just gets a little bit stuck. Like the bottoms of your feet and kind of going up to the back of your calves just a little bit.
Like crouch and try to like scoot through. I don't know.
Okay. As you do that, you do feel like just anything that's within proximity of the page itself gets a lot easier, kind of more passable through there. And so kind of crouching down, you're able to do that. And as soon as you cross the barriers, your dogs kind of start getting a little worried, as if like, because they know that they can't cross the barrier. They kind of attempt to, but they are unable to. And Aurora kind of starts like yipping a little bit, just in worry and concern. Like she's like, where are you going? And Barden kind of says, you have some loyal friends there.
Yep.
Well,
do the dogs seem super distressed?
They do seem on edge and worried, because it's almost as if like you by going through the barrier, they know that they are in a different place than you are. Not necessarily that, you know, like they're in any danger, but that they kind of feel like they've been abandoned. Like suddenly you were there and with them, and then after crossing the barrier, they sense that you're not. You're no longer there.
Since we're all doomed to die a horrible death, as this laughing Prince of Night stuff shows up through the sky hole, do you mind telling me how this ritual works?
And he says, of course. I might as well tell you how the rest of the world will die after tonight. You see, I've been here quite a few years, harvesting as many lives as were willing to come up here for their greed. And I've assembled a whole host of souls to open up this door. Now, this doorway, I'm not exactly sure how high it goes into the sky, but far enough that it will pass into dimensions where things that have been banished from our corner of the universe are now exposed. And, of course, in doing so, I am unleashing those things that are beyond there.
Sure.
Now,
as one does with big dimension sky doors.
Of course. Now, according to the book, and he kind of pulls out of his jacket the full text of the Laughter Beyond the Sky. Yes.
I shoot him.
You shoot him?
And I grab it and I run through the barrier.
Okay. Roll the hit.
You got him monologuing.
I know. I was like,
totally
feeling exposition.
Yeah. Your luck is back. Awesome. Okay. All right. You shoot him, and he totally wasn't expecting it at all. So he goes down as you shoot him.
I grab the book through the barrier.
He drops
like somersault, so it's all nice and compact.
All right. And you're able to do this. You feel like just having the book in your hands has just given you enough power to just fly through the barrier. And he kind of runs up to the barrier and he kind of like smashes his fist into the barrier. He cannot pass through it. And he kind of screams in rage.
Hey.
And the dogs are happy. The dogs are happy that you're back on this side with them. And Barden says, you fool, you do not know what you're wielding with that book.
Nope. But I bet Katie does.
He says, oh, I should have killed you. I shouldn't have trusted you at all.
Well,
May whatever is coming.
Never
in
trust
the
a man who would
future, sir.
abandon his dogs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go find my friends.
That is a good line. And he says, well, whatever comes before as the heralds to the Prince of Laughter, I hope it gets you. I hope it tears all of you apart to your atoms.
It might, but you know what? We're gonna try to stop it. And I got your book. I'm gonna go find my friends.
Okay.
Oh, thank you,
Awesome.
puppers.
All right.
That was
Puppies are
my
happy.
saving point. I was like, wait, if I'm leaving my dogs, this isn't the right course of action.
Uh-huh. That's been like a huge Jameson thing the whole
That's my
time.
moral compass. Is my
Yeah.
dog. I don't
Yeah.
have one. It's just my dogs.
Yeah.
For sure.
What's your alignment? Dogs.
Dogs. Chaotic dogs.
Chaotic poop on the snoot.
Aw.
Nice. Okay. So it
I'll
might
go
take
find
you a
them.
little while, but you run
Cool.
back to Main Street and you notice that your friends are headed toward the hotel. So
Bailey! Katie! Boy!
See, look, I said he'd be back.
I turn around and I'm just
You're
like,
back. You're back.
Yeah, I got Barton's book.
Katie's gonna like
Well
launch herself at you and like totally like hug you, and you totally hate it, but she's like so happy.
and I say, wait. Didn't you say he shot the doctor?
Yeah,
Like a lot?
Yeah, a lot. So here's the thing. Barton's book with the missing pages. We need to figure out how to stop his crazy sky spell because apparently something is coming first that's gonna like gnaw and mash on us or something. I don't really know. And Molly, here's my pistol because I shot the doc and that wasn't something I should have done. So you keep that so I don't shoot nobody else who don't deserve to be shot.
Okay. And
All right.
I put it into one of my pockets.
And when this is all said and done, you can turn me into the sheriff. But until then, I'd like
Well,
to.
the sheriff is right here.
yeah, and the sheriff's kind of like, you shot Miss Delilah.
6 times till she was dead. Yep.
And she kind of just like lifts her hands and she's like,
I don't feel good about it.
everyone. She's like, if we survive, I am going to hit you with the full book of the law. But
I'd expect nothing less. But until then, I'd like to help solve this problem so you can punish me as is appropriate.
she says, well, I know you're a man of your word, Jameson, so I will hold you to that. But I'm surprised you're able to get that book from Barton.
Yeah, he's kind of dumb. He thought because he read books, he was smarter than us.
I mean,
Anytime you
I
can
won't
get the
contest that opinion. She says, okay, well, can one of you read this thing?
I can sure try.
Okay. I mean, it might take a while. It's an entire book.
Yeah.
so-
Do we still want to keep building the fire on
Yes.
the? Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
those bat creatures are coming through, and it sounds like they're just the scouts, is what you're saying, Jameson? Because there's some big
You're on mute.
You're muted.
He said something about a herald or a forerunner or something.
yeah, bat creature.
Hmm.
We start a big fire here. We can stop the third one, and we can check out this book.
I mean, I'm for the fire. We're already working on it. Might as well finish it.
Cool.
As you all kind of approach the hotel, you're noticing that the sounds of the miners kind of milling around the town seem a lot more quiet and subdued. You still hear the occasional yell. You hear the occasional kind of man running across the street, but there's definitely a lot fewer miners than there were before you left to go to the tent town. And occasionally, you'll hear just kind of a whooshing sound and a lot more of those kind of echoing shrieks coming out of the sky. And Katie, Edgar kind of like clutches your shoulder a little bit and he says, I think those flying men are coming back. we should get inside as quick as possible.
Okay. Everybody, the flying creatures are still coming in, even though we started these fires. So Edgar thinks we should get on inside. I think he's right. Did Jameson mention anything about the barrier?
Nope.
Yeah, I didn't think he wouldn't necessarily. So we don't know about that.
Not yet.
Because
I think
yeah,
we need to get, as much as this is going to be a horrible idea, generally speaking, we need to get to the roof, because if one of those shadows is going to be showing, remember it was on top of the gallows. If it's a shadow, we need to be up to where it is. Or we can just burn the hotel down and assume that it was up there. But either way, this thing needs to burn.
yeah. I thought we already did that. We didn't do that. Like the third one, burn something so that the third.
We were on our way to the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Jameson
No,
found us.
I totally agree with that, with what Molly's saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Edgar's saying go into the hotel, or at least get out from under the open sky.
Mhm.
So does that mean you're going into the hotel to burn it, or going up to the roof like Molly's suggesting? What are you planning?
Where do we see the ring, the kind of beacon?
So as you kind of just like look at the hotel, you don't see it necessarily. So like Molly suggested, you feel like if it's going to be anywhere, it'll probably be up on the roof.
Okay. I trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many stories tall is the hotel?
It is 3 stories.
3 stories.
Mhm.
How many stories can someone jump off of and not die?
2 stories.
not die or not get horribly wounded and maybe paralyzed.
Yeah. Remember the guy with the broken legs?
Right.
Yeah.
Jameson dumped him out of the 2nd story window.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was a little painful, but you were
Yeah.
able to do that. I think 3 stories is kind of pushing it. That's
Okay.
that's
Oh, by the way,
dangerous.
psst, Bailey, don't show Jameson your big.
Your
Oh,
hands.
I'm not going to talk to.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
Okay. So so we're going into the hotel out of whatever, but we're going to
Yeah.
discuss while we're in there how to make it go away
Okay.
and burn. So how much dynamite do we have? Not that we've been carrying it around with us, but is all the dynamite that we had in the mine gone?
It's in the
Yeah.
mine still,
It's
right?
in the mine
Yeah.
still.
Left it-
Okay.
left it behind. Mhm.
Okay. Maybe we don't need to worry about burning down the hotel from the bottom. I say we go to the roof and very carefully start a fire from cover
Let's
up on
do
top of the roof.
Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
I'm fine
Now,
with sleeping in a stable.
where are
Probably.
you going to get this wood from? Because it's not like there's going to be wood.
I
all
mean,
over.
I
the
say mattress.
Hotel's got to be full of it, right?
Yeah.
Chairs, and
Furniture.
tables. And,
I say bedding and
Yeah, bedding.
mattresses and chairs.
All right. So you kind of ransack some of the rooms.
Yep.
You're dragging stuff up to the roof. Okay.
Mhm.
As you get to the roof, arms full of this flammable stuff, you notice that this shadow is a lot bigger than the last one. The last one was 10 feet. This one's about 20 feet in diameter. And you're noticing that bits of the roof seem to kind of be like coming up off of the top of the hotel and floating upward. And the shadow here is much darker than the other one was.
We need to hurry. We need to
Yeah.
do this like now.
we need
Yeah.
more wood. Let's go. Let's get it.
Do it.
So
Let's-
as you pile on all of this stuff, you hear another one of those kind of shrieking noises, and you feel a gust of wind as you have come to expect, and you feel like one of those winged creatures is about to come alight somewhere near you and potentially grab one of you.
We're in the hotel. Are there like fireplace pokers or anything nearby?
If you're on the roof, no. But if you go down into the 3rd floor and kind of look around, you
There
absolutely
like
find
I imagine there's some kind of tools on the roof, like a shovel or something.
roll a search.
Is there a whacking stick I can find?
The rooftop whacking stick.
I was successful.
Okay. You do find
Settle for a hammer.
yeah, you do find just kind of like a workman's kit, as if someone was trying to repair a hole in the roof.
We'll grab a mallet or hammer thingy out of it.
All right, you pull that out. All right.
I'd spin around with my gun and try and find it to shoot at it.
Okay. And you absolutely kind of see it coming out of the sky, and it's aiming specifically for you, Katie. It is just like about to come out and swoop.
I feel like it's kind of the moment a little bit past, but Jameson's like looking around for like anything he can, and he picks up a hammer, and right when he's like picking up a hammer, she's going to offer you a rifle. So this is like the beat right before this thing is.
Okay. I'll take the rifle.
I'll trust you.
All right, I'll take the rifle.
I may not live to see the day when I get to say that again, but I trust you.
Is this your rifle?
Yeah.
Like, oh, your special rifle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she's. Yeah,
Tear.
I know.
Single manly tear.
I know.
All right.
Probably don't even have time to do it. Thing, but
Okay.
I love it.
All right. So just as you kind of hand him the rifle, this thing swoops, and Edgar kind of caws in shock as it kind of grabs you, Katie, and it just kind of grabs you with a couple of its talons just in both of your shoulders and is about to kind of lift you up out away from the roof.
Oh man.
Assuming the rest of you are going to shoot at this thing.
Yeah.
I will also shoot. Now that I have a rifle, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shoot at it actually.
Okay. So we're going to go ahead and actually save that for next time, because
Oh.
I do not want to enter combat just right at the end there. So it might take a little while. So we're going to end with Katie about to be,
That's fantastic.
stolen by this
Ooh.
thing.
Boom.
I love that.
Monster.
I'm totally thinking of Mist. But like, yeah, because she's just like hands the rifle, and it's like there's the connection, picks up the rifle, and then camera sees and and that's like, oh crap.
Okay.
And what happens?
Everyone,
We'll find out
thanks for
next
tuning
time.
in for a hell of an episode, if I do say so myself. That was
Intense.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, this is next week will be our last episode of Yukon Dark in this actual play. So you have 1 week to see all 11 episodes you missed. 22 hours, 1 week. Go.
Yeah.
If
Got
anybody
it.
actually
Yeah.
does that, let me know, and I'll
Yeah.
send you a free book or something. Because sorry. But yeah. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yes. Bye.
I can't wait next week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
That was so good.
Ooh.
I feel like Mari and I grew up playing the same video games, because you always know you're at the final boss when literal chunks of the ground are just floating up into the sky. All we need is a big light behind it, and I'm like, this is every last battle from every game I've ever played.
It was so cinematic, and like I could just really good descriptors as always, because I could just
As always,
visualize it. Yeah. It was so good.
But I loved what you guys have done with like the last episode, because I obviously like had some beats, so like just like things that I wanted to happen, but you guys just fill in all of the gaps with awesome characterization and cool moments. Like I loved how Bailey was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this ritual," because I was hoping one of you guys would do that.
I mean, why Bailey seems like the most logical choice. Like,
Yep.
oh, you mean if I do this, there's a good chance I don't die?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
You're
take
like
that
the
gamble.
guy from the Mummy that collected all of the different religious symbols.
100%. I actually had that thought earlier.
earlier.
I was like, that's 100%. One of these will work, I swear.
Yeah.
Well, and I loved how Alan went with like the madness
That
and
was
the corruption. That
like
angle.
when he was typing to me and he's like, I kill the doctor. I'm like, oh no, I have to like figure everything out. But I thought it was just like such a brilliant moment. I was like, okay, it's gonna happen.
It was perfect. It was really good.
I wanted to cannibalize her, but Maddie was like, no.
Did you really say that?
Like eating like a chunk of the leg, like hey guys.
Oh God.
I'm glad you didn't because
terrible.
it lets you kind of at least come back to the party.
Yeah.
There's more of a redemptive.
That'd be a shade beyond the pale, maybe.
Right, we just walk up, we turn the corner. Jameson's got like an arm,
Yeah.
And a big
blood everywhere.
bloody face.
That big old beard has just got like
Yeah.
Delilah bits in it.
Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
No, never.
No.
Yeah. No, that was super awesome.
Yeah.
For
I'm
sure.
also glad I didn't have to shoot anybody in the group.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
It came
Still got one more
close.
session.
Like,
Mhm.
If you had tried to cast a spell, I would have thrown down.
yeah. Or if I would have tried to shoot, yeah.
I switched to my tiny Cthulhu dice, and then I started rolling well. So
Really? That's
Yeah.
what Ashley said. Ashley said they were awesome. Did you
Mhm.
roll like
They are.
666
They
on them
roll
your
the
first
5s and
time?
6s.
I didn't get 3 6s my first time, but yeah,
Okay.
it was still pretty high rolling.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was so great.
Mm-hmm.
What a great stinger too to pick up the
yeah.
next episode.
I know. I imagine it like a freeze frame. You know what I mean? And then like the music for the Gallant Night game thing comes up. It's
Yes.
like freeze frame. This is where it's at. We've got our guns and the things. Like that would be an awesome fan art thing to do, or some sort of art. Like that would be really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
This final scene.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
all right, loyal viewers, we are going to sign off for the night.
Mhm.
We will see you next week
Yep.
at the same tiny time, same tiny place, same tiny channel.
Aw.
Mhm.
And for our not so tiny conclusion to our moderately sized campaign.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Enjoy the rest
Amazing.
of your week, and you could have a good weekend. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.